And welcome back to DR Sports for another edition of Roundtable Talks. That's me cutting the tension in here with a knife. We're talking today about the best Premier League teams of all time. Let me introduce you to our guests. We have the Parisian Londoner Stuart in the building. How are we?
Thank you. I'm good. Yourself?
Very interested to see your opinion actually on this debate.
From a European perspective.
From a European perspective. A man like Lewis from City Extra, how are we?
Yeah.
Ready for this one?
I'm ready to go, yeah. I'm ready to go.
He's got his shorts on, he's ready.
He's always got shorts on.
Mr. DI himself.
I ain't got no shorts on, man, but you know what I mean? I actually do it in this cold weather.
Just get accustomed
to it. Northerner, mate.
Sorry, I forgot. Yeah.
We've got United Views' very own Flex, who is fresh from talking to the players themselves, by the way. So very, very close relationship there. And we also have Nii Nii as well from Blue Lions. How are you, fella?
Very good, man. Obviously glad to be on. Had some great football talk as well, so yeah.
I'm looking forward to this one because there's a few different options on the table, boys. Let me give you some of them now. Before we get into the actual debate, remember, we're only a few thousand away from hitting 200k on DR Sports, so if you're not already, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. A lot of great content going on. But recently, only last week, Manchester United 078 was officially voted the best ever Premier League team. This has rattled some feathers within the camp.
Understandable.
I am going to give you some more teams to consider now, and then we just open the table up and we go.
Sure.
Chelsea 2004-05, 95 points, unbelievable. Mourinho's first season, I think you only conceded 16 goals in the whole campaign.
Yeah,
that's not
unbelievable.
15
unbelievable. Unbelievable achievement. A lot of close wins.
Part of the bus.
Yeah.
A lot of
That's easy, isn't it? Score one and then start shopping.
We'll get into that. Another team to consider, Manchester United again in the running, which pains me, but the 98-99 team, which did win the treble.
That's why I'm not really bothered about this one.
Like, only 79 points though in the league that year.
To win, like to me, well, we'll get there.
Cool. Also, Manchester City. This is where you enter the race. 2012, 89 points, and then obviously Manchester City again in 2018 when you did cross the 100 mark point with that Gabriel Jesus goal at Southampton. Arsenal. It would be silly not to involve you in this one, Rob.
It's nice of you to be on.
We're in and we're back. Hey, we're back. Yeah.
90 points in 03-04, Invincible season, really unbelievable achievement. And then obviously the Liverpool entry, I had to throw myself in there. 19-20, 99 points gained, the first time we won the league in 30 years. So do you know what, to make it interesting, I don't want to hear from any of us to start with. I'm going to go straight to you, Stu, because you do have a neutral opinion on all of this. You've heard the teams that I've just said there. Throw me some names out that you think could be in contention to be the best ever Premier League team.
From a European perspective, I think we've been marked more by the treble team than this one. So I'd say amongst the team you mentioned, I'll go with the treble team. Wow. And then the Invincible, obviously. As a Frenchman, I have to go for Arsene
Wenger. A lot of French players.
A lot of French players as well.
Exactly. So you said there's not going to be much bias and going to.
I am already.
Just going to French.
Listen, we're all going to get. I might even be a little bit biased, Flex. You know what I mean? So I've got to stick up for my team.
No,
that's
definitely.
interesting.
And Arsenal is well followed in France as well. So I think those two teams are looking better than the 07-08. Yeah.
What I would say is this is a chat about, it might not be a points tally. Obviously Robbie's going to clap that. It's not necessarily about a points tally. This is the best team, right? So we're looking at the goalkeeper, how good the defensive, how combative, creative the midfield is, and obviously the goal scorers up front. Do you think both of those teams you've mentioned had everything in terms of 1 to 11?
Yes.
No passengers in that team at all?
No, not really. 07-08, I think you had few passengers. I don't like. Okay, I'm trying not to be biased, but for example, Patrice Evra, obviously was one of the, I think, his best season with you guys. 07-08.
Yeah.
I think who do you have on the right side? 07-08 defense.
Right back.
Where's Brown? Neville was injured.
Passenger as well. So
actually, listen, what I'd have to say, Wes Brown got an assist for Ronaldo Champions League final.
Player. These are the players that when football. When you move away from them years, you don't realise those type of players that are under the radar. Big boy players, big boy careers, won big things and performed at a high level at a top team for a long sustained period of time.
And
put
you
it out
lost.
there.
I remember you lost the Champions League final last season against Barcelona.
And when you come up against
the
Pep,
best squad ever. It hurts me to say,
The
but
best.
2009, 2008 Barcelona is one of the best squad ever. And if you were supposed to have the best team of the Premier League this year, you lost against Barcelona. So Messi had it as well. I remember.
Yes.
So a couple of early shouts there. He did and kissed it.
Why?
A couple of early shouts there for Man United, which will come up again. Arsenal. Let's bring Manchester City into the equation because you weren't really a part of this conversation until about 10 years ago.
Yeah,
But
it's nice to be invited.
yes, it is nice. It always is. You've got to be a big boy to sit at this table, mate, and you're here now. But the Centurions, for me, that has to eclipse what you did in 2012. Yes, it was the Aguero moment. Yes, the team was there, but that was only the beginning of the journey, surely.
No, that was the moment. But the Centurions team, I mean, to get 100 points. I mean, you guys, you know, I mean, I'm coming on to Liverpool in a minute. When you won the league, you smashed it as well, but you still didn't get the 100. No team's ever got the 100 before. Very, very difficult to get again. I mean, I think we failed to win 6 matches. 6. You know what I mean? That's just unreal. You look at the quality that's in the league. It's got to be up there for me in top 2 or 3, is it?
Of all time, yeah.
Of all time.
Right, well, obviously there's no other Liverpool fans here, so what I'm going to do, Flex, because I know you're going to have something to say about this, what I'm going to do is just chuck out a few facts from that season. Again, no emotion involved.
What season?
100-point season.
Right, so you just let me read this out, because again, this is some achievement. Liverpool recorded the best ever start to any season by any team in Europe's top 5 leagues, 26 wins out of the first 27 games, 79 points out of 81 on offer. That's unbelievable, boys. That can't be looked past. And
How did they
also
end it?
30 league wins faster than any team in the league.
What do you mean?
What do you mean, how did it end?
Well, you won. You ended by you winning it, but in terms of the point, you say you got all them games, but you still didn't get more points than that.
It's 1 point.
That's true.
We're nitpicking.
It doesn't matter. So
It's
that
1
means you started better, but still didn't get all more points.
Also, you know, a fact that I mentioned earlier, 7 players out of this team went on to be nominated for the Ballon d'Or, which has never happened before.
Did anyone win the Ballon d'Or?
Again, just let me It's a madness
We're not-
how Salah didn't win that, or Van Dijk, to be fair, I can't lie.
What's going on here?
Nomination.
Nominated.
At one stage of the season, Liverpool held a 25-point lead, the biggest ever of any top flight, and we also won it the earliest out of any team after 31 games. So that's all I'm going to say. You guys discuss that.
No, it's your team. You can still say why they're the best. Like, there's got to be more. You can't
For
just
me,
put
that's
the
just
stats.
a less good version of our Centurions here. We did exactly what you did,
That's not
but
what the
got an
records
extra.
say though. 26 out
Well,
of
the
27
records say we got
wins.
100 points, so you got 99. So
Yeah.
for me, that Liverpool team, as good as it was, and it was good, and the year before you pushed us all the way, but we
You
got
won
the
more
extra
points.
point. We got the extra point.
But again, if we're
There's
talking
nothing
about
better
points,
in that
then
team.
Arsenal got 79. United got 79 points in 99. So if we're talking about points, surely this conversation.
No,
has
it's
to
not
be
about
more
points. It's not about points. But directly comparing that one to the Centurions, it was about points.
Because Arsenal can just say we just didn't lose a game.
Arsenal can say they didn't lose a game. We can say we
But
got the
what's more
Centurions.
important, not losing the game or winning the most points?
That's what we're going to get into.
Because
now.
City lost 2 games in that season, right?
Two. I think we draw 4. I think.
So technically, that's not as good as achievement as the.
No,
Arsenal 3-0 team.
and that's a good debate. I love that. I love the Invincible / Centurions debate. But just purely on this topic, Liverpool versus a City one, there's hardly anything in them other than the 1 point.
Which
Hence
is
City.
mental to even say.
No, it is
isn't
mental. It is mental. But that just rules Liverpool out, I'm afraid, because
I never said that.
I'm going to bring you in.
Obviously, Chelsea 04-05, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Compare that to the teams we've just mentioned there. Where do you stand there, do you reckon?
Obviously, that team, what was just remarkable, and I feel like I can't see this getting broken, this record, but to concede 15 goals, like we're looking at the Premier League now, the amount of attacking talent, it's only going to keep improving and going. Teams won't be falling off. I don't see any team conceding that least amount of goals. I think that's crazy. That season, we only actually lost to Man City. It was an Anelka penalty that season. Only 1 game lost. But in terms of just like a complete unit, like it wasn't just like how we played. It was just how we completely just like outclassed it when we played against. I remember that game.
Was that Terry Cavallo?
Yeah,
Terry
Robin
Cavallo.
Gallas.
Who was right back then?
William Gallas.
I
Paulo
think Ferreira was
Paulo
playing
Ferreira,
Gallas there
yeah.
sometimes
Good
too.
defense,
You know what I mean?
Solid.
Complete
Makelele,
team,
Lampard.
Lampard. I mean,
It was proper.
it's a serious team. And obviously, we set the bar so high that you just have all these fond memories from back in the days, thinking how hopefully under Tuchel we can get back to those types of glory and levels. But I just feel like that team was special to get that 95 points as well too. concede one, lose one game in the season, 15 goals conceded. I think this reflects just how dominant we were in all areas, not just stacking one. Like maybe Liverpool, City can always go on your attack, but our midfield, our defence, our attack, everything combined. I think that's kind of what encapsulates Chelsea, to be fair. But we're like a team, like a proper team.
You know, the one problem with that team really, and it's sort of that disrespect that fans give it, is that people automatically just say, oh, it was boring. You know what I mean? And it was a negative team.
But actually, that's a compliment in a way, isn't it?
Well, but it's a weird one. You know what I mean? Because it was a machine. That team was a machine in it, and it got results. You know what I mean? It got results, but there's a mad disrespect on that team. And almost like, because you say, oh, we only conceded 15 goals. For people who don't really remember it that much, they just automatically assume like, oh, that must have been a proper boring team and that. But it ground out results, man. And
I think everyone forgets that, like, when we were winning games, it wasn't just because we were sitting deep defending. We didn't defend for a whole season. A lot of it was just like a lot of containment type of tactics. You know what I mean? Just
clinical.
Our whole plan was this is how you exploit this team's weakness, and that's why we won the league. We found weaknesses against every opposition, targeted them, and it might come across as grinding out wins, but it was a masterful.
You see, I think that team does get slept on. It does get slept on because when you look at, say, when City won it, and you look at the style of football that Pep Guardiola plays, which is all action. Even if you don't support City, you're going, bloody hell! Like look at that dominance they had over this team consistently over again. But that's true. That team, I do feel, does get probably the most disrespect. Maybe yours might get disrespect, but I think that gets weird. Gets disrespected.
Interesting. Let's look at Arsenal. That season in particular, from 1 to 11, as we mentioned, pretty much world-class players in every position. I am going to throw the 12 draws at you though, just as a little, a little curveball. What would you say to people that say, how can that be the best team? They failed to win 12 games.
He loves it.
He does, he's waiting for it.
Listen, you all know the best team is.
No, there's no point in saying that. It's a debate. We don't know. We're all talking about
Arsenal. I've heard you all argue your points, right? 100 points, brilliant, but we lost 2 games. You lost games. One
was against you.
Most points earlier, but you lost.
Right.
We lost 1 game. It was only on penalty. A penalty. Stuart lost. Right? We didn't lose a game. Not 1 game for the whole season. It's never been done since. There's been some amazing teams that we're talking about right now that have been assembled with amazing world-class players, and nobody can tell me that the City team and that Liverpool team didn't want to go that whole season unbeaten, but they weren't able to do it. And Arsene Wenger actually came out that season and said, I feel this team is so good they can go a whole season unbeaten. So he heaped pressure on the team.
Liverpool.
He heaped pressure on the team. He goes, I think
during the time, right?
Yeah, he said, I think he said it at the start of the season, and he got absolutely mocked.
Oh, did he? Did he say it?
I remember, because the season before, I think we only lost 1 game.
Oh, so he was like, this team.
The season before. So he said, I feel this team is good enough to go a season unbeaten. And he got absolutely slaughtered and mocked, and what's he talking about? And he did it. And, I think the draws thing is that where people have to realise, right, is that we won that again. We sort of got the league done and dusted fairly early, right? And then it was almost like, right, the mission is to do this. Let's win this. Let's complete this season unbeaten, because it will be something special, right? So hence why there was a couple of draws. There was a couple of fortunate moments that got us over the line, and you've got to have that to enable us to do it. But we did it, and went a whole season unbeaten. We got the gold trophy to show for it, and I think that's why everyone likes to mock it and try to come up with little things to undermine it about draws and that, because no one's done it. And I think the accomplishments of the Liverpool team and all these teams, everybody's got something.
Yeah, to get to this table, you have to.
Yeah, everyone's good. Like you said, even though I say part of the bus, but that Chelsea team, I remember it. They were unbelievable. They were so hard to beat. The 100 points team, what you guys did was incredible. I remember that Man United team. That was a fantastic team. But I do think the Arsenal team had the edge, because I think it had everything. It had a great defence. It was an exciting team to watch with, flair and attacking. It was that season. Arsenal was everybody's second team. Unless he was a Tottenham fan. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Well, mine's on the team, mate.
You know, but everybody, you know, even a United fan would look at it and say, you know what, begrudgingly, the way they play football. We played brilliant football. We had world-class players, like you said. I just think that that's been the best team in Premier League history, in my opinion.
So I don't put it as the best team, but in terms of looking at the achievement of not losing a game for, you know, the whole season, it is massive.
You set a bar, don't you? The bar's been set.
It is massive.
The bar's been set.
But
Go and do it.
The issue that I look at the Invincibles team is, I don't even think it's the best Arsenal team there's ever been. I think the double winning Arsenal team was better. And also I look at the dominance of the team in the era. That Invincible team should have won a hell of a lot more than it won. And for me, for the players that are in that, to get one Premier League trophy and not show much dominance, that's for me where they
should have won the
where it's like didn't win the Champions League, and I'm like,
should have won the Champions League.
There wasn't. I feel like with these other teams that were spoken about, there was a lot more.
We should have won the
dominance
Champions
in and around the year before, the year after.
The question
but I'm saying that's a factor that decides it.
No, it doesn't decide it, because we're talking about the Premier League, right? And in the Premier League, to me, that's the best ever achievement. They went the whole season. They won the league and went the whole season without losing one game.
But I think to win the league, but still win other things at the same time, big things, is more impressive. Because in a way you're saying, you can not concentrate on the Champions League, not concentrate on the FA Cup. I'm not saying you deliberately did that. I'm not saying you deliberately did that. But to have the mentality to perform at the highest level in the Premier League while still competing on the fronts of other trophies.
He's got a point.
That's incredible.
No. Even like bring this point in, like under Conte, we got like 30 wins in the Premier League. That's quite impressive. But you're not going to tell us that we were one of the greatest teams ever. And what made it easier for us, if I'm going to be truthful, is the fact that we were knocked out of many cup competitions. When you have more time to prepare for the league, which is where it gets harder during this stage of the season.
Well, it weren't like we were knocked out of everything.
But like we did semi-final against Chelsea.
We did go deep down into
the FA. Us in the FA Cup.
We went deep down into these competitions, but we're talking about the Premier League. We went a whole season unbeaten. We set the bar. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like Usain Bolt, innit? You set the world record. That record is there.
I just don't think it's the best.
That record is there to be beaten. You know what I mean? You might go and win 5 Diamond Leagues, but you haven't won.
I'm saying it's in the top 5.
You haven't won the World Cup. You haven't won the Olympic gold medal.
Just in the top 5.
Top 5?
It's in the top 5. It could be second. No, I'm saying it could be second. No. I say it's a top 5. It could be second.
Have you done it?
Could be third.
Have you done it?
No, because we've done the treble, so that's why we're the best team ever in the Premier League.
It's like Usain Bolt can go to any sprinter wherever and say, I'm the world record holder, right? And another might go and might say, well, no, but I won a race over here. I won more races than you. He goes,
no, because they all had the same. No, they all had the same end goal. You can't say that.
Turn around and say,
they all won the same thing.
You turn around and he'll say, see that? That's my Olympic gold medal.
I don't think he'd slap it.
And I broke the world record doing it. Where's yours? And they'll have to just say, all right, see you later.
I have a question. It's a good point that was raised. I'm going to bring Stu back in.
Yeah.
Out of these teams that we're considering, right, and I like Flex's point again about how, yes, it is a Premier League question.
You would.
But the only teams out of this list...
You're trying to find angles.
The only 2 teams in this list that have actually won the league, but also in that season, or the season before, won the Champions League as well. That's Man United in 99 and Liverpool 1920. Stu, do you have to? It must consider.
Yeah, that's why I'm going for the
1920.
Say, I know you're not doing history, man, but let's go back.
Man, you did the history these days. Just after the war. Just after World War I. But Stu, does that factor in? Because
100%.
These teams that haven't won it, we look at Chelsea in 04-05, lost in the semi-final of the Champions League. Man City 11-12, not too sure how far you got in that one. 17-18, we knocked you out. Arsenal knocked out by Chelsea in 03-04, but Liverpool won it the year before, so it must count for something.
I mean, from a European perspective, obviously the treble team has a bigger impact than the Invincible, objectively, because obviously they won a European trophy. So
I agree with
from an outside point of view, that's why I'm going for this team instead of the Invincible. I'd say pretty much the same.
Stu, I agree with you. If you're saying overall, it's got to be they won the treble, right? And that's not been done.
Yeah, it's the best achievement ever,
right? So overall, but if you just say in Premier League,
Sure.
it's Arsenal. They've been a whole season unbeaten and won the league.
Lewis,
But the treble winning, that's not been done since. Again,
gives
that's
a
another
European dimension
achievement.
to the team,
That's
so,
another achievement that hasn't been done since.
I think it's easy to like people try and dust that under the carpet. I 100% agree with you in terms of, like you said, the Centurion thing is that good. How are you going to do that again?
Achievement.
Not conceding that as little goals as that. No one's ever done that.
Yeah.
Everyone's
Everyone's got
brought something to the table here that maybe apart from really the Liverpool thing is like, well, you got toppled by them. It's like other than that, then so you just won the league then.
Well, and the Champions League the year before as well. That's
Yeah, but in the Premier League season,
2 year period.
if you're looking at the thing, that's but
performances.
out of everyone, you've probably got the least like striking.
But what I would say,
apart
again,
from the points tally, but the points tally's been higher
Well,
before.
listen,
what I would say though, just
Same thing.
my final thing on it, yeah. What I would say, right, is the 100 achievement, brilliant. 99, brilliant. The best defense, what was it again?
15 or
Best defense,
16.
15 goals conceded.
But you don't get a trophy. You don't get an additional trophy.
A gold one.
You don't get anything.
No, hold on. For going a whole season unbeaten,
Yeah.
we were given, that was recognised as such an incredible thing that we were actually given a golden Premier League trophy for that.
Still counts for one title.
I know, but I'm just saying that was in recognition of
how good it was.
Hold on, that's in recognition of just how special an achievement that was.
I have to say, I
Well,
agree.
on the Centurions, is that not a special achievement? Look how good
It is a great achievement.
Look how good Liverpool were the
breathing down
year
our
after, and they
necks.
still couldn't get that 100
Fantastic
points.
achievement, and I think.
There's a shout that City should have got a golden
that's a big
trophy.
achievement.
100 points, never been done
No, you
before.
don't
It's
get gold.
unlikely going to be done
You don't
ever
get
again.
goals for
A
that.
century as well.
Remember, you do that unbeaten season,
You do
that
100
year,
points
you
then.
don't win the league.
I think you should have got a silver one for that.
They did. Anyway, Lewis will like this one. Lewis will like this because if we're looking at all the teams we've mentioned and their points tally, yes, we can bring in nostalgia, memories, players, and all that stuff. Points, it goes like this. The number one is Manchester City, 17, 18, 100 points. Number two is Liverpool, 19-20 season, 99 points. Number three is Chelsea 04-05, 95 points. And coming in fourth, getting that Champions League spot, it's the Invincibles with 90 points. Does that surely, just going on facts alone, make your achievement the best?
I think, you've got to look at what's special, right? The Chelsea team, mint, but you lost the game, you know what I mean, and you didn't get 100 points. You know, the treble winning side is the season was mega. The Invincibles side,
79 points they got in the Prem that year.
well, there you go.
But then you're talking about eras of football though, which is different.
I agree,
Because
that's
at
true
that
as
point,
well.
that's still a high amount of points.
Yeah,
to
but
win
we
the
have
league.
to look at the
So that's
facts.
difficult.
At the end of the day, which are the special teams? The Invincible team was special because they didn't get beat, and the City team got 100 points. Which even Liverpool, the year after, who were absolutely mega, even with that start that you rattled off before, still couldn't get 100 points. The two special teams are the Invincibles and the Centurions.
No, the treble team's special because they competed on all fronts outside of that, and they've completed the. If you talk about the football wish list at club level, that's it. There's no disrespect, not the poor man's treble, like you guys. I'm talking the proper.
It wasn't disrespect.
But the actual treble, like when you set out at club level, the most prestigious awards a team can win in that. Yes, the EFL Cup, which you guys have shown is unbelievable, but the FA Cup, domestic Premier League,
In England,
and the
for sure.
Champions League. Even if you're at PSG, even if you're whatever country you're in, if you win your
wanna win the
domestic,
treble.
the Champions League, and then whatever your cup is, that's the best you can
Only
do.
been done by Barcelona and Bayern, right? In the
And we're the only English team to ever do
Yeah,
that.
but Flex, I would agree, but
2009,
that's
they won
a
everything,
different.
6 trophies.
Yeah,
I know they're different
that's a different
competitions.
argument though for me. That season was the best season that's ever. That's a different. You're arguing a different point. That's the best season that's ever happened. That you have that.
Yeah.
You don't need to defend
It's a
that.
separate
We all agree.
question, I think.
But I'm still saying it happened but it happened within the Premier League season where they still won the league in that season, and then they also won the Premier League 3 times in a row, and we've done that twice and all. So I'm like, you've got to start putting respect. For me, I just think it's too easy to just say it's only just that one Premier League season. I think you've got to look. For me personally, I look at like what that team done in the era of the Premier League as well.
Yeah, but then
and
you've
what
got
they
the
won.
best. Then you've got the best team and the best season, and that's not fair, isn't it? You know what I mean? You can only have one.
Sorry,
just take the one.
because we were the best at both at that point. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying the treble winning team is the best because of what you just
I'd
said.
also like to throw in, right? If you say if you're putting it down to that 100 points team and the Invincible team, that Invincible team was built on not a mega budget. That was assembled and put together, and you know, over a period of time. And again, that's why I give it the edge, because whilst I'm not belittling, listen, 100 points is incredible no matter how much money you spend, but you were able to craft that team easier with the ability to and spending power that Manchester City had. So that's why I'd put. I still think overall I'd go United at treble, but just the Premier League. You're talking Premier League just singularly. Then it has to be Arsenal because we didn't lose a game.
So Arsenal is your choice, Robbie. That's obviously what you're going to go with. And go around the table. Stu,
treble, United.
You're going straight in like that. No thinking time. Straight in for the treble.
Yeah. 100%.
Best ever Premier League team of all time.
Yeah, from a European perspective.
Better than the 07-08 team, which has just been voted.
I remember more his team than the Invincibles.
So is it a nostalgia thing though?
A bit, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
So that must
he has impacted European football.
Everyone's got their criteria
more than the Invincibles.
Okay, interesting. Right. 1-0 to United, 1-0 there to Arsenal. What are we going with, Lou?
I'm back in the Centurions. 100 points, mega.
Everyone's going to back them, isn't they?
Guess what I'm going to vote for?
The 99ers.
The 99ers, the quickest team to ever win the Premier League. They won 31 games across the whole season. Again, a record. Won it before any other team could even catch us. We were 25 points clear of these guys at one point, which is, considering the season before you had, unbelievable
Set
achievement.
a target, say, let's go and get that 100.
Bro, do you not think they were trying to?
But they didn't.
We failed.
They failed.
Right, anyway, that's what I'm going for. Liverpool, we've got really rounded answers so far. Flex?
Yeah, Man United
You've probably got a couple of options.
For me, yeah, like when I get asked this question a lot, we do different things. If you want to put 7 or 8 team, fine. If you want to do
all
that,
right, mate.
But
Well, give me one.
But normally I'd always go with the treble team. You know, I was surprised to actually see that 7-8 like voted all time. I know it was one particular platform, so it's not general consensus, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
But with this, there's never a real right answer, is there? So,
Well, that's why we're doing the round table talk. Nii Nii?
I mean, to be fair, I've been completely uncomfortable this entire time, to be honest. It's just like, you know, I feel like I don't really have even a place really even back anything, to be fair.
You got to back your team in this argument.
Yeah,
You've given us the points yourself.
I guess, but like also being like a football fan too, I mean, even though it's nice not to concede that many goals, do I care that much? Probably not. You know,
He's gonna go
would you rather? Would you rather? If he's got inside, would you rather say Chelsea? Would you rather say? I'm just saying. I'm not going to bias. I'm just going to ask you one question. Would you rather not lose a game and have a golden trophy in Stamford Bridge, or in that season would you have rather said that you won all the biggest trophies there were on offer, plus you won the title 3 times in a row in that era?
Or 100 points, man.
Or 100 points.
100 points.
I mean, with my answer, I just remember that the amount of pain I used to suffer from this team in particular during that 3-year spell, like from referees being against us to how the league was, you could say was, giving them a little favourable treatment at times. You know, I can't forget Fergie time and stuff like that. Who can forget that? But I'm gonna have to say probably United's.
Which one?
Treble. I mean,
treble. Funnily enough, it's the
maybe the 07-08, I guess.
I think if you are going to give it to United, you can't give it to the 99 team. Yes, in so many ways, incredible achievement.
I think
79 points. You have to go with the team that surely got more. That's just me personally. But that rounds off the debate.
No, hold on, you didn't come back and ask me.
You've already said Arsenal. I know your answer.
How did you know I was going to go for Arsenal?
Okay, so what are you going with?
No angles on this thing, yeah? I've got a lot of angles.
Here we go.
First to get to this, nearly got to that, went round that. Listen, we went our whole season without losing a game and won the league.
Unbelievable achievement.
I'll rest my case.
Let us know in the comments what you believe. So many voices here to listen to, but what do you think at home? If you want to subscribe, follow any of these guys, I'm sure the links will be in fact they will be all in the description. We've had Stu, Lewis, myself, Rob, Flex and Nii Nii all debating what we think is the best Premier League team of all time. Let us know what you think and get us to 200k very quickly as well. We're so close to it. Join us again for another one. I'm sure this debate will go on as the cameras turn off. And we'll listen to you guys in the comments as well. Let us know what you think. Take care. We'll see you soon.